Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about woman. You are going to know many things about woman. Who is a woman? What can they do? What are they capable of doing? The very first question, as always, is what is a woman? A woman is an adult female human prior to adulthood. A female human is referred to as a girl, a female child, or adolescent. The plural woman is sometimes used in certain phrases such as women's rights to denote female humans regardless of age. Typically, women have two X chromosomes and are capable of pregnancy and giving birth from puberty until menopause. Female anatomy is distinguished from male anatomy by the female reproductive system, which includes the ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, vagina, and vulva. The adult female pelvis is wider, the hips broader, and the breasts larger than that of adult males. Women have significantly less fascia and other body hair, have a higher body fat composition, and are on average shorter and less muscular than men. Throughout human history, traditional gender roles have often defined and limited women's activities and opportunities. Many religious doctrines stipulate certain rules for women, with restrictions loosening during the 20th century. In many societies, women have gained access to careers beyond the traditional homemaker and the ability to pursue higher education. Violence against women, whether within families or in communities, has a long history and is primarily committed by men. Some women are denied reproductive rights. The movements and ideologies of feminism have a shared goal of achieving gender equality. Trans women have a male sex assignment at birth that does not align with their gender identity, while intersex women may have sex characteristics that do not fit typical notions of female biology. There are various words used to refer to the quality of being a woman. The term womanhood means the state of being a woman having passed the menarche. Femininity is used to refer to a set of typical female qualities associated with a certain attitude to gender roles. Womanliness is like femininity, but is usually associated with a different view of gender roles. This stuff is an archaic adjective derived from women's conventional role as a spinner, now used only as deliberate archaism. Although fewer females than males are born, the ratio is around 1:105. And newborn girls are more likely to reach their first birthday than are boys, and women typically have a longer life expectancy of 6 to 8 years, although in some areas gender-based discrimination against women has lowered female life expectancy to lower or equal to that of males. Out of the total human population in 2015, there were 100.8 men for every 100 women. The life expectancy differences are partly due to inherent biological advantages, but they also reflect behavioral differences between men and women. In recent history, gender roles have changed greatly. At some earlier points in history, children's occupational aspirations starting at a young age differed according to gender. Traditionally, middle-class women were involved in domestic tasks, emphasizing child care. For poorer women, especially working-class women, although this often remained an ideal, economic necessity compelled them to seek employment outside the home. Many of the occupations that were available to them were lower in pay than those available to men. As changes in the labor market for women came about, availability of employment changed from only dirty, long-hour factory jobs to cleaner, more respectable office jobs where more education was demanded. Women's participation in the U.S. labor force rose from 6% in 1900 to 23% in 1923. These shifts in the labor force led to changes in the attitudes of women at work, allowing for the revolution which resulted in women becoming career and education-oriented. In the 1970s, many female academics, including scientists, avoided having children. Throughout the 1980s, institutions tried to equalize conditions for men and women in the workplace. Even so, the inequalities at home hampered women's opportunities. Professional women were still generally considered responsible for domestic labor and childcare, which limited the time and energy they could devote to their careers. Until the early 20th century, U.S. women's colleges required their women faculty members to remain single on the grounds that a woman could not carry on two full-time professions at once. According to Schimbinger, being a scientist and a wife and a mother is a burden in society that expects women more often than men to put family ahead of career. That is written on page 93 of Schimbinger. Movements advocate equality of opportunity for both sexes and equal rights irrespective of gender through a combination of economic changes and the efforts of the feminist movement. In recent decades, women in many societies have gained access to careers beyond the traditional homemaker. Despite these advances, modern women in Western society still face challenges in the workplace as well as with the topics of education, violence, healthcare, politics, and motherhood, and others. Sexism can be a main concern and barrier for women almost anywhere. Though its forms, perceptions, and gravity vary between societies and social classes, there has been an increase in the endorsement of egalitarian gender roles in the home by both women and men. Although a greater number of women are seeking higher education, their salaries are often less than those of men. CBS News said in 2005 that in the United States, women who are ages between 30 to 44 and hold a university degree make 62% of what similarly qualified men do, a lower rate than in all but 3 of the 19 countries for which numbers are available. Some Western nations with greater inequality in pay are Germany, New Zealand, and Switzerland. Women are underrepresented in government in most countries. In January 2019, the global average of women in national assemblies was 24.3%. Suffrage is the civil right to vote, and women's suffrage have a long historic timeline. For example, women's suffrage in the United States was achieved gradually first at state and local levels in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, then in the 1920s, then in 1920, when women in the U.S. received universal suffrage with the passage of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Some Western countries were slow to allow women to vote, notably Switzerland, where women gained the right to vote in federal elections in 1971, and in the canton of Appenzell in Norrland, women were granted the right to vote on local issues only in 1991, when the canton was forced to do so by the Federal Supreme Court of Switzerland and Liechtenstein in 1984 through a women's suffrage referendum. How has women's role changed? A good question. Women are now getting power, even in rural areas. In many countries now, women are the head of the state. Education has made women independent, and they are no longer dependent on men to lead their lives. Business laws have changed to allow more women in the workplace and giving them a comfortable environment to work in. Women's multiple roles. As a daughter, a woman is traditionally responsible for taking care of her parents. As a wife, she is expected to serve her husband, preparing food, clothing, and other personal needs. As a mother, she has to take care of children and their needs, including education as well. And by ending, I want to mention 21 things women can do that men or boys can't. First one, they get pregnant. Sure, guys contribute, but they will never get as close, literally, as they get to their own babies. Second, they fake it. Okay, no more explanations about it. They just fake it. The third, ask for directions. They have no problem pulling over and asking for help. Consulting the GPS doesn't count either. The fourth, they look sexy while sipping fruity cocktails. What guy do you know can look hot with a pink drink in his hand? Oh, and by the way, they look damn good drinking beer too. The fifth, live longer. It's a fact. Women live 5 to 10 years longer than men. Plenty of time to take a few more vacations, have a few more orgasms, and maybe hook another hobby. The sixth, have multiple orgasms. No need for them to wait and reload. Okay. The seventh, multitask. They can talk to our BFF on the phone while watching America's Next Top Model and doing lunch. No sweat. Eighth, get a new last name or just drop it all together like Fergie and Madonna. Ninth, wear skirts. They keep them so much cooler in the summer than men's shorts. Plus, a hot mini is sure to score them a few free drinks at the bar. The 10th, get out of a speeding ticket. A little smile and the sorry officer is all it takes to get off scot-free. 11. Become a cougar, not a dirty old man. Sure, the idea of another man sounds hot, but the reality is often a skis schmuck. Cougars, however, are fierce, like Demi Moore. The 12th, wing it on the dance floor convincingly. Guys would be so busy checking out your shaking booty, they won't even notice you're not a great dancer. The 13th, wear high heels. They add 4 inches to their height and make their legs look fine. Hey guys, what do your ratty old sneakers do for your physique? Actually nothing. The 14th, flirt with the bouncer. They bat their eyes at the doorman and get in the door with no cover charge. If a guy were to try it, we're thinking he might get kicked out of flying. 15th, blame it on PMS. Just say the words cramp, tampon or period and men instantly let you have your way. 16th, grow out our hair. They miss a haircut appointment and their hair just looks longer and sexier. Guys miss theirs and they start looking like they're homeless. 17th, cover up a zit. Both men and women are prone to blemishes, but one of the sexes has a multitude of concealers and creams at their disposal to cover them up. 18th, get aroused without the entire room knowing it. We don't have to cross our legs and grab the nearest textbook whenever we get turned on in the public. Wear a thong. That's the 19th. They make their ass look great and are surefire way to turn on a guy. If a dude tried donning one, well, it would just look gross. The 20th, get a manicure. Hanging at the nail salon is just a normal day for a woman, but a guy getting a mani or pedi is bound to get weird looks. The 21st and the last one, make a longer list of your talents. The Ask Men list was pretty short with only 10 measly items on it. Oh, well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I had for you about women, or simply a woman. And I can't go without saying that women are strong and stronger than we ever thought before. So ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to subscribe, like, sharing, and of course, giving us your ideas by commenting. See you the next time. This was The Chart.